When you return a serialized item to the vendor, you must specify the item's serial and/or batch number on the purchase order return lines or perform a reservation against multiple batch or serial numbers. This helps to ensure that the correct serial and batch numbers will be removed from inventory and also indicates to the vendor which serial and/or batch numbers are being returned. To return items to a vendor, the same three options are available for serialized and non-serialized items. You can use the negative quantity, copy the original purchase invoice, or use the returned order purchase type. Now, let's look at more serial numbers and batch numbers as they relate to the vendor returns. There are several items that you may order that contain serial numbers, which, for tracking purposes, the vendor will want detail on for the returned order. Similarly, vendors can supply batch numbers with delivered goods and may want batch numbers recorded on the return order. To process these returns, we create reservations in order to mark the items so that they cannot be used or sold in error. Now let's switch over to AX and I'll show you how we can do this. I'll go to Procurement and Sourcing and open the All Purchase Orders form underneath the Common area. I'll go ahead and generate a new purchase order and select the vendor I want to use, and then click OK. For this example, I'll add a line by using the negative quantity approach. So I'll select the item, and then I'll scroll to the right and verify the site and warehouse and update the quantity. For my example, I'll do a quantity of -2. If required, I can update the unit pricing information. Next, I'll need to update the inventory reservation. This is done underneath the Inventory button on the Purchase Order Lines Fast tab. I need to save the line before I can click the button. I'm receiving a warning message letting me know that I'm creating a credit note for a vendor that's been configured with a cash discount code. I'll just close this warning message. Now I can go ahead and click the Inventory button and then select Reservation. This will open up the reservation form. Here, I can perform a reservation and select the information. I may need to update which inventory dimensions are being displayed, so I can expand and click the Inventory button and select Dimension Display. This will open a screen where I can see the various different inventory dimensions. I'll turn on Batch and Serial Number and then save my setup. Now you can see there are many rows in this screen. I can see which batch numbers and serial numbers are in my inventory. Let's say this is one of the serial numbers that I need to return. So I can highlight the row and then click Reserve Line. I'll scroll through the list and find the next item and serial number that I need to reserve, highlight the row, and then again click Reserve Line. Now I've reserved a total of 2. You can see this in the reserved physical field. You'll also notice that the reservation column on the grid is updated for the 2 rows that I have selected to reserve. Now that I've performed the reservation, I can close this. When I'm ready, I'll need to confirm the purchase order by clicking the Purchase tab in the Action pane and then clicking Confirm. Now that I've confirmed the purchase order, if required, we can go to the Receive tab in the Action pane and post a product receipt. When you post the product receipt, the 2 batch numbers that we have reserved would be removed from inventory. Later, the finance users can go to the Invoice tab in the Action pane and use the Invoice button to generate the invoice. When the invoice is generated, the inventory will be updated with the financial information and the invoice will be posted into the vendor's account. Make sure to join me in the module review where I'll summarize what we've learned in this module.